Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time you're watching this. My name's Connor from 905 Review. You guys are checking out our series Give This a Spin, where I recommend you some of my favorite albums. And today we're taking a look at our first live album. So what better one to start off with than Sam Cooke's Live at the Harlem Square Club. Cooke discovered his talents at a young age as he would perform in various different gospel groups, the most prominent of which being the Soul Stirrers, with whom he performed throughout his 20s. After some hits with them throughout the early and mid-1950s, he ventured off on his own in 1957 to kick off his solo career, moreover doing it while transitioning into a pop-like sound, which was pretty bold as there was a lack of overlap between fan bases of the genres. But this did work out in his favor. He already had 8 solo albums under his belt before this live performance in 1963 at Miami's Harlem Square Club. So let's see how it all went down. We start off with his 1961 non-album single, Feel It. And right from the very start, Cooke ropes you in to the sound that we'll experience throughout the rest of the album. Fun, upbeat, grooving, everybody just having a grand old time. And just as he sings, don't fight the feeling, feel it. And he makes it so incredibly easy to do so.
Don't fight it, baby, feel it. Ha. Oh, baby, when you're dancing near me, with your cheek close to mine.
Continuing in the swing of things is one of his biggest hits, and that is Chain Gang. It's upbeat and it's raucous, and you almost can't help to groove to it, nor its catchy hook. It's a good modern take on a traditional work type song, and actually inspired by Cooke seeing a Chain Gang while he was touring.
Baby, that's the sound of the men working on the same.
Continuing a strong set list, he follows this up with another big hit, Cupid. It eases things down a little bit, but it's nonetheless one to dance with your lover to. And songs like this really show why he had such an easy transition into the pop world.
Why don't you hear me? You know I need you. I need you, Cupid. Help me.
And this is followed by a 2-song medley, the only 2 songs on the album not written by Cooke. First the serenade, It's Alright, to further ease things. It's about having an undying love for someone and sticking with them through thick and thin.
Shake her and wake her up, and wait till she wipe all the sleep from her eyes, you understand? And when she get all that sleep wiped from her eyes, look her dead in the eye and tell her, baby, it's alright, it's alright.
The saxophone in the back really adds to the soul of a wholesome tune. And this transitions right into the guitar driven For Sentimental Reasons. The real highlight of this performance is the way he gets the entire crowd singing in on it.
Everybody come on, sing along with me, there's no fun. I think of you every morning. Think of everybody, and I dream of you every night.
And closing the first side of the record is Twistin' the Night Away. Sam really kicks things up a notch as you can just picture a room full of people having a fantastic time twisting the night away. A real good, cheery, fun song.
Let me tell you about a place somewhere New York way, all where the people are so gay, twisting the night away.
Again, the saxophone only adds to the jubilee with 2 quality solos.
All right, everybody, let's twist a little while. Let's twist. Oh.
A great pick from the show, as Sam has maybe his best performance of the whole night right here. Really can't go wrong with this one. And starting the second side of the record is another classic, Somebody Have Mercy. Sam just can't figure things out as his woman's done him wrong again, but this blue track just sounds more like a celebration in this environment.
Somebody have mercy. I want to know what is wrong with me. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I don't know how I stand.
And an odd footnote, there was apparently this rumor that spread throughout 1962 that Sam was suffering from leukemia. So after he says the line in the song, "What's wrong with me?" he quickly chimes in and says that it ain't that leukemia. The song ends by changing into a different segment where he's getting mad at the phone operator because he just wants to reach his baby as the crowd goes wild loving it. And this transitions so nicely into Bring It On Home to Me, a reworking of a Charles Brown tune. It's a bit slower, more of a swaying track. If you ever change your mind and come back to Sam, he'll be waiting on you with open arms.
Oh, but I know that I only hurt myself. Oh, why don't you bring it to me? Bring that good loving, baby.
Again with a perfect segue, this is followed by Nothing Can Change This Love, much to the crowd's joy.
A million miles away, I'd write a letter each and every day, 'cause I know that nothing
And like much of the album, it's another great pick to dance to that special someone with. Just so lovely. And ending our album with my favorite from it, we have Havin' a Party. It is such a swinging tune as everybody's just having a good time together, and it feels like the night should never end.
Everybody's swinging, everybody's dancing to the music, dancing to the music on the radio, baby.
So you may have noticed it was the music from the original album we analyzed here. I actually have the remaster, which was reissued as One Night Stand, Sam Cooke live at the Harlem Square Club, which also featured an introduction track on it. The only other visual release of this of note is a 2014 clear vinyl with green and yellow splatter released to a limited numbered 300 copies in Europe. So this show at the Harlem Square Club in 1963 was recorded with intent to put out as a live album to really help grow Sam Cooke in exploring the mainstream pop sphere. But the rocking, rowdy, nightclub feel of it isn't what label RCA Victor was looking for, so it ultimately just got shelved. The performance has been described as Sam as his most self. He's confident, he's comfortable performing what he wants, how he wants, as opposed to forcing himself to change up his style and sound in hopes of appealing to a broader, bigger audience. It wasn't until 2 decades later when longtime record executive Greg Geller happened upon this and thought, man, this is awesome, how has this not been released yet? When it finally was released, it received tons of critical praise, being considered among the best live albums of all time, and even making its way onto Rolling Stone's top 500 albums. Sam Cooke live at the Harlem Square Club is nothing short of legendary. It's, I guess, pretty hard to put into perspective for someone my age the significance of just this rambunctious performance, how incredible it was, in great contrast to, this tender soul image that the label was trying to put out with him in becoming this big pop icon. But even putting that significance aside, the performance on here is admirable enough in itself. I would be hard pressed to find a live album that really brings me in as well as this one does. I find you can so easily just picture yourself in the club there with everybody else listening. The Music is already moving enough to want to get your body going, but just hearing all the crowd, how much they're loving it and joining in, only enhances that. With that being said, I've got to stamp this album with an A grading, and honestly, I've thought that of it since my very first listen. The energy and excitement is just so absolutely palpable, and it makes for an all-time great performance, studio or live. Those have been my thoughts on Sam Cooke's Live at the Harlem Square Club. Let me know yours. I thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. But, real quick, before we take off, what were your thoughts on this live album by Sam Cooke? Let me know down below, as well as any other thoughts, comments you might have, requests for other albums, and thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.